You're listening to This Week in the World of Football, which is coming to you from the fabulous World of Football Man Cave, located in the center of the football world, Kalamazoo, Michigan. The purpose of this podcast is to promote the game of football in all its many forms, past, present, and future. The intent is to educate, inform, and entertain you, the listener, with the glorious buffet that is the world of football, while also keeping a close eye on the rich history of the game. You can find this show on a multitude of podcast platforms as well as on YouTube. Timestamps are provided in the show description, so you can jump to the topics you really want to listen to. So without further ado, let's kick off this week's show.
Hello, everyone. This is episode number 389 for April 15th, 2025, and I am your host, Randy Snow. On this week's show, St. Louis has been named the location for the 2025 UFL Championship Game. Quarterback Joe Flacco re-signs with the Cleveland Browns, and on Sunday, Adam and I attended a UFL game between the San Antonio Brahmas and the Michigan Panthers at Ford Field. But I'm not here all by myself. Across the table from me, as always, is my son, Adam.
Yep, what a great weekend it was for us, especially being from Kalamazoo. I don't know if y'all heard the news out there, and I'm not trying to turn this into the world of hockey, everybody, but our local hockey team, the Western Michigan Broncos, won a national championship. They won the Frozen Four.
Yep.
What a great, crazy weekend that was. I mean, we had that on. We had an arena game on.
Yeah, I was watching the arena game on my laptop, and I had the Western game on TV with the sound off, but I was watching the whole thing. Oh, it was awesome. Yeah, they beat the Boston University Terriers 6-2. I mean, it was like 3-2 going into the third period, and then they got 3 on it.
Oh, and then it was just, craziness.
What a great ending. It's Western's first ever NCAA Hockey National Championship. It was Western's first Frozen Four appearance ever, and they came away with the win this year. And it was their first national title for the school since 1965, and that's when the men's cross-country team won a national championship 2 years in a row, in 64 and 65. So there's a couple of national champions from Western Michigan
Very
University.
impressive. Did you end up burning a couch like the kids on campus?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. Well, we could. We got some extra couches. We could, in honor of the Broncos, we will light couches on fire.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Well, not only do we do this podcast, but we also have a YouTube channel, and we make YouTube videos.
You don't say. We make YouTube videos for our YouTube channel?
Well, we currently have over 500 videos on our YouTube channel, including things like our AF1 recap video for Week 5 that we put out just yesterday.
Yep, just last night. Yep.
And, of course, next week we'll have an AF recap for Week 6. And Adam is also going to be working on a travelogue from our UFL Panthers game this past weekend.
We'll talk about it on here too, but we're going to go into a little more detail because there's only so much you can video. And some of my stories, there's no way I could have videoed some of the stuff that happened. So we'll talk about it, but then we got a nice fun video that Randy's going to narrate, and that'll go up either today or tomorrow. It just depends on the time,
Okay. All right, well, let's begin our weekly tour around the world of football, and we're going to start off this week with scores from Arena Football 1. This was Week 5 in the AF1. On Saturday, it was the Southwest Kansas Storm holding off the Salina Liberty 22-20. This was kind of a boring game.
I'm still tired from that game.
I mean, it was close at the end, so Salina had their chance to win, but the Storm improves to 3-2, and Salina unfortunately drops to 0-4 on the season. They've played well at times, but
God, they show flashes. But
they just haven't put it all together yet. So time's running out for them to get a decent win.
Well, I mean, they still got a lot of season left. They can still put it together. It's just, I don't know if it's their quarterback situation, if it's just their scheme. I don't know. Both these teams, we went to it extensively on the show.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about just their style of play. I even had like the points per game that each team has been putting up, and it's not pretty. I mean, Salina is averaging 24 points a game, and Southwest Kansas is averaging 31 points a game right now, and we
pretty
talked
low for both.
It's pretty low for arena football, and I talked about it on the recap. But I mean, at halftime, I'm watching the game, and I hear the announcer say, both teams are having trouble running the ball. And that's when I looked around and I was just bewildered at that statement for arena football. Because I get like some of these teams have come from other leagues where there's different styles of play, different philosophies. These coaches, I get it. And the game evolves, so I get it. There's a little more running than we're typically used to. But I think the ratio is still off. The style is just not clicking 100%, and it's coming out with some of these low-scoring games that are just ugly and not fun to watch sometimes.
I don't remember which game it was over the weekend, but the announcers on one of the games was saying something about one of the linemen catching a pass, as a tight end, and he was like, I didn't know that they had a tight end in this league, and I'm like, oh my God, you've been in the indoor league too long,
right?
So,
and I forget which game it was that somebody got flagged for not raising their hand because the lineman guy has to come out and raise their hand to designate.
That could have been the same game.
It could have been the same, but it's just maybe that was the same instance.
Could be.
I missed that part about the announcer saying that, but I don't know. It's some of the stuff and some of the announcers. Yeah, I mean, we could be critical, but look, at the end of the day, though, I mean, it's still nice having arena football around.
Yeah. Last thing on this game here is that they switched quarterbacks. Salina did in the fourth quarter. They went with quarterback Jalen Kilgo replacing Jamario Benson with about 10 minutes left, and he led him to a couple of touchdowns and, might have done differently.
Kilgo has played for him quite a bit this season, I want to say.
But as I was looking at the roster on the website, it listed Kilgo as a quarterback, but Jamario Benson, it said athlete. It didn't say quarterback. And they had two guys that listed as athletes. It's like they can plug them in anywhere. So I don't know if that makes any difference or not. But hopefully,
I don't know.
Yeah, Kilgo did well, and I think he should be the quarterback going forward.
He's been the starter for a couple of games, and I think he has looked pretty effective at times. But it's just that whole team as a whole just got a lot to work on.
Yep, they sure do. All right, on Sunday there were a couple of games. The first game.
Well, they played these next two games like at the same time. I thought this was a baffling scheduling move. But
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So I didn't see any of the Corpus Christi game, but they improved to 3-0 with a win over the Washington Wolfpack by the score of 61-21. Washington actually was out to a 15-0 lead and then gave up 27 unanswered points by halftime. So it was 27-15 and. 11 turnovers by Washington, a combined 7 interceptions and 11 fumbles in this game, including 2 pick sixes by the Tritons. Man, what a sloppy game.
I mean, I like you didn't really watch this game live because
I caught the
highlights. It was at the same time as their Vice game. I think that was a scheduling mistake for them. But
and everybody wanted to see that Vice game.
Yeah, so I feel like this one. I mean, I went back and I kind of scrubbed through it a little bit. The Tritons just looked like once they kind of got their feet under them, it was like, all right, we got this. And the Wolfpack just were outmatched. Even though I like the Wolfpack's quarterback, it was Ed Crouch, I want to say, their quarterback there. And he had an okay game. He's, more of a running quarterback too. Ed Crouch, he threw a couple touchdowns, but threw 3 interceptions. He had a touchdown on the ground. So, I don't know. We talked about this on the show. When you have a goose egg in any quarter in an arena game, it's not a good sign. Yeah. And in a couple of these games, teams just getting blanked in a quarter is not good.
Yeah.
Salina had a couple quarters where they didn't score. And in this game, the Wolfpack had 2 quarters, the second and the fourth quarter, where they didn't muster any points. So it's not a recipe for success in this style of league, the rules that they have set in place, because it makes it hard to come back when you're down 27-15 at halftime. Yeah. Sure, you traded score for score in the third quarter, but then in the fourth quarter, you allowed 27 points to your nothing. Good luck even getting anywhere near them if you're not going to score.
Yeah, and this was a road game for Corpus Christi, so they had to travel all the way from Texas up to Washington State to win a game, and they did. I believe their first 2 games were both at home, weren't they? Because the first game, they only had nets at one end. The second game, they had nets at both ends. Yep. So 2 home games, now a road game, and they're 3-0. So they're looking pretty good in the early part of the season.
And for the Wolfpack, I mean, they've had quite a few home games to start the year, too. I think their only game on the road was... I don't even know.
Did they go to Salina or Southwest Kansas?
It might have been at Southwest Kansas.
I think it was.
But yeah, they've had a couple home games in a row now, and you can't get any home wins, so you need to do something, because you're going to be a lot of road games the rest of the year. It's not going to be kind to you traveling. So
Yeah, but the big AF1 game this week was the Sunday night game on Vice. The Albany Firebirds defeated the defending champion Billings Outlaws by the score of 62-24. This was a nightmare game for Billings. All the hype leading up to this game, I assumed this was going to be a high-scoring shootout game where both teams just put up a ton of points, and the winner was going to be the team that had the ball in their hands last. But boy, it did not turn out this way. Turnovers, way too many turnovers, just incredible. Albany was up 21-0 before. I mean, when you started watching it, because you came in late, and they were already down 21-0 at that point.
Yeah.
So it was just, a kickoff return for a touchdown. I think there was a pick six in there somewhere, and a fumbled or a mishandled kickoff was recovered by Albany and run in like 5-10 yards for a touchdown. So just so many crazy things. The ball going off the iron, and just everything that could go wrong went wrong for Billings, and it was something else.
It was like, man, I compared it to a playoff game between the Columbus Destroyers and the Dallas Desperados from 2007, where the heavily favored Dallas Desperados, just nothing seemed to go their way at a point. I remember the ball hitting the iron so many times, and the Destroyers just capitalizing. That's what this felt like.
Yeah.
But hey, give Albany their flowers. We don't want to be Albany haters. We don't hate Albany. We recognize that they are, well, clearly the best team in the league.
Right.
We can't even argue that. While we still like Billings, and we still think Billings can give them a run for their money, it was just a series of just terrible bounces. The ball literally not bouncing in their direction at several points. But you got to take care of business. And it seemed like they just weren't equipped at that time to come back from the hole that they were in.
Right.
Albany looks like they're built to be like, hey, once we get a 2 or 3 score lead, like we can maintain that. And that defense for Albany, I don't think is going to get enough credit, because you look at the scoreboard, you're like, wow, they hung up 62 points. But you look on the other side, they held the Outlaws to 24 points.
Yeah.
And Albany's offense barely touched the field. It was just like every possession was like one play and done, touchdown.
Yep.
Or, they had 5 plays at one point, and you look at they showed the graphic for the stats at a point, and everything was in Billings' favor. Time of possession, plays run, all that stuff was in their favor, and they were down by 3 scores.
Yeah.
So just absolutely crazy. But I was listening to Levac and Gaz on, they had their Monday show. I was listening to that today while I was at work, just catching up, because I try not to listen to other people's arena shows if we're going to talk arena. And they had some cool insights, behind the scenes of them doing their Vice broadcast. Supposedly, Levac said that the Vice people are very happy with the AF1. Prior to the game, obviously, I'm sure after the game they're still happy with their relationship. Sure. So we'll see how that builds and grows. And so I think that's great for the league. You would have hoped that your top 2 teams would have had a closer game.
Right.
But we get a nice rematch.
Yep.
This is where we get to see if Billings can at least bounce back.
Right.
Even they may or may not win, and it'll be tough for them if they have to go 2-2 going forward. But they'll at least be home. The first home game of the year.
First home game.
So
I think the crowd is going to be totally behind them. I expected a big crowd to be there to support them, and
I do too.
Against their new villains, the Albany Firebirds.
If anything, this just creates a great rivalry for this first season.
Oh, yeah.
Levac told a great story about how after the game, I think he said that Coach Walker and Steven Titus were hanging out in Coach Ware's office. After the game, they're all kind of hanging out talking. And somebody said, oh, we even the series up or whatever, because, you beat us twice last year, and now we got one. We're one away from tying the series up. And I think somebody on the Firebird said, "Nuh-uh, this is a new league. These are new everything. So we're up 1-0." Something like that. I thought it was a great little story he told about that. And he's got Levac told some other fun stories. So go listen to Monday's show of Levac and Gaz, their Albany Fox Sports radio show they do. They opened their show up. It was at least 20 minutes of just talking about that game. So if you want to hear some fun arena stories, Levac's an interesting personality. He also does the AF1's Season Pass podcast. He's the one who kind of runs that and does a pretty good job. I don't know if anybody else out there is listening to it. But if you're craving more AF1 that isn't the World of Football branded, go check that out. Yeah, go check out our official AF1 podcast.
All right, last thing from this game. 4 turnovers by Billings in this game and 0 turnovers for Albany.
We talk about it all the time. Turnovers, stops, all that stuff will, it's death by 1,000 cuts in this league.
A stop here and there could be the difference in a game, usually.
But my other big thing is, and we got to at some point compose like our 10 commandments of arena football, because what else do they need? You need a great kicker. Nell, the kicker for the Firebirds has been something else. I love a good kicker in the AFL. If you can hit the crossbar, if you can, or the nets, you can hit any part of the stinking netting and the iron, or you can hit the deuce now. I love the deuce rule. I can't tell you how many times back when we were season ticket holders of the Grand Rapids Rampage, Brian Gowans, one of our favorite players in the arena football history, he would get it all the time. I can't tell you how many times we see a kick go through the uprights for either team, and it would just get stuck in the net, and it'd be a touchback.
Yeah.
Like, man, back if they could have gotten some of those 2 points back in the day, who knows what kind of scores we would have saw. But, I think kickers are not what they used to be in the AF1. I think you got a couple of guys. Nell is definitely one of them now.
It's almost like an afterthought to have a kicker on the team, and
it shouldn't be.
It's a big part of the offense.
It should be find a quarterback, find a great offensive weapon, get a kicker.
Yep.
Yes, defense will be important, and some big body dudes up there. But if you want and crucial, guys who are like top of their game, you want a top tier quarterback, a top tier receiver, and a top tier kicker, because a talented kicker is going to help you out in so many situations. And we saw he even hit an onside kick. Nell did a beautiful onside kick, by the way. So he did everything, and I don't think he's getting enough praise. I think more love for the kickers. And if you love the kickers and you love the deuce, go get yourself a World of Football I Heart the Deuce t-shirt over at our TeePublic store.
Okay. And then on bye this week, it was the Oregon Lightning and the Nashville Cats. Next week, they got a game on Thursday night. I don't know if that's going to be on Vice or not. I'm not sure.
Those should all be Evergreen Now games, except for the Albany Billings game.
Okay. So, Thursday night is Nashville Cats at the Washington Wolfpack. Saturday, it's going to be the Oregon Lightning at the Salina Liberty. Also on Saturday, Southwest Kansas Storm at Corpus Christi. And on Sunday, the rematch. Everybody's going to be looking forward to that. The Albany Firebirds at the Billings Outlaws this time. We'll see if Billings can bounce back. I hope they can.
And the note there, obviously, the first game, the first weekend, all season, all 8 teams in action at the same time.
Full schedule, yes. A couple games here, 3 games last week, 1 game in week 0.
Right.
So, this is the first week in week 6 that everybody's playing this
7 weeks to get all the teams to play at the same time.
Yep. So in the standings, real quick, it's Albany at 4-0, Corpus Christi at 3-0, Billings at 2-1, Southwest Kansas at 3-2, Nashville at 1-2, Washington 1-3, Oregon 1-3, and Salina 0-4.
Yes, and one real quick though, this is what looking at these standings, this is why the AF1 just needs to get rid of the divisions this year. Yeah. I know they're still there as placeholders.
Right,
when the playoffs are determined, I bet you the divisions won't mean much.
Right.
But just for this season, I know you want divisions. It looks sexy on your website having your standings broke up like that, but I'm sorry. And all these teams are playing an imbalanced schedule, and they're getting ranked by their winning percentage, I think. So just come on, AF1. Just get rid of the divisions. You want to.
All right, then we're going to turn it over to Adam for National Arena League scores.
Oh, yes, the National Arena League. Oh, boy, do we have some stuff to talk about this week. Thursday night saw the Idaho Horsemen take out the Carolina Cobras 34-21. A little bit of a shocker there. Then on Saturday, the Shreveport Rougarou defeated the Louisville Savage in a non-league exhibition game, 55-12. Come on, God, what are we doing non-league games? What are we doing, NAL? I mean,
these are to fill in their schedule for games because of the what was it? The
Dusters?
Yeah, the Amarillo Dusters, yes.
Well, then explain why.
And a few other teams.
Okay, well, I still don't like it. I don't like these non-league games.
That way they get an extra home game, and they bring in a lesser opponent, and they get a big win, and they sell more hot dogs.
Well, you know how we talk about, I want to call them rinky-dink. That's my level of really bad indoor and arena leagues.
Yeah.
But you're sliding down the tier list here, NAL, and we'll also get to some more reasons why in a second, because the second non-league exhibition game I guess we have to talk about, the Colorado Spartans embarrassed the Las Vegas Knights 69-18.
Las Vegas Kings.
Kings, what did I say? Knights?
Yep.
Oh, well, I meant Kings. I saw the K. So they took them out pretty easily. But then how about this? Sunday night, well, for those of you who caught the live stream while it was going, the Beaumont Renegades upset the Omaha Beef 36-31. This is the first loss of the season for the Beef.
And the first loss, I think, in 2 years for the Beef.
Yeah. After getting their new head coach over the weekend, after firing the guy who was undefeated, they bring in the new head coach, and guess what he did his first game? Ooh, a loss. Very interesting there. Beaumont is the only NAL undefeated team at 2-0, and they also, their other victory was against the runner-up of the championship last year.
Yeah, so they beat both teams that were in the title game last year.
Yes, the Columbus Lions and the
Omaha Beef.
So are the Renegades currently the favorite to take the NAL?
Yeah, time will tell on that.
Time will tell, and we'll see
only been 2 games.
if we'll be able to even watch that happen if it comes to fruition. We'll get to that in a second. So the slate of games for their Week 7 games in the National Arena League, Friday we'll see those Beaumont Renegades traveling back to Columbus to take on those Lions, see if they can keep that momentum up.
Yeah.
Saturday we'll see the Carolina Cobras take on the Wheeling Miners after their bye week. The Sioux City Bandits will take on the Omaha Beef, and the Idaho Horsemen will travel to Colorado to take on the Spartans. Thank goodness, not a non-league game in sight. And then on by the Shreveport Rougarou. And, of course, the big news story from the National Arena League this weekend, after all the head coach swap drama last weekend. Oh, this week we got the some YouTube drama with the National Arena League that's kind of been a buzz in the indoor and arena community. As apparently somebody noticed, I saw Trey post it, and I saw a couple other people post it. Trey from Off the Wall, obviously. Everybody go check out him and his show. I'm sure he'll have great stuff to say on this topic. Looking forward to it. Trey, we love you, buddy. The National Arena League posted this statement, though, last night, saying they are currently working with YouTube and Google to resolve the issue of their streaming channel. This issue is not related to copyright, per some reports. We do appreciate your patience as we work through the process and hope to have everything resolved.
Yeah, that was the first thing that came out, was that it had to do with copyright issues. So that's what everybody was reporting. But evidently the league is denying that it's not a copyright thing. So no other details on what's going on, but they're working to resolve it. So hopefully in the next few days we'll find out one way or the other whether they're going to be getting their YouTube page back.
Yep, so I'm going to YouTube right now just to confirm as we are recording that it is still not back up.
Okay.
So we will see how that develops. And does this, I'll ask you, does this vindicate the AF1 and the Indoor Football League for what they have chosen to do this year? Obviously, the AF1 going with Evergreen and having their contract with Vice. The IFL creating their own network, which saw a lot of, negativity.
Right. Because they put it behind a paywall.
Does this justify everything?
Well, it depends on what is the reason that the YouTube page was taken down.
You would assume it's copyright.
Well, I don't know.
It is a sticky situation. All these. So what gets me is I'm not a. I don't sit there and we don't do live streams really here as much as I want us to get into some. But that's beside the point. But no, like, we've watched enough of these games on YouTube. There was arena games last year we watched on YouTube. We've watched indoor football on YouTube, blah, blah, blah. We've watched a lot on YouTube. YouTube is a great resource when it comes to helping out some of these smaller leagues, getting a kind of a grassroots following.
I've never seen a problem before with any of these,
But it makes sense that the music playing at the arenas and all that getting picked up, and then
well, maybe it's got something to do with the language too. Maybe the fans are swearing, and that's what they're objecting to.
Well, here's maybe not.
Which you can't stop.
We'll see what the actual issue is if they even tell us.
Yeah.
If the channel even comes back up, we'll have to wait and see. Yep. But my thought was, I am not a streamer. I don't put together a thing for a league to broadcast our games, but I was thinking about this. I was like, if I did, in a hypothetical situation, we're broadcasting from a Kalamazoo arena, say, for like an old team like the Explosion, what would you do in order to avoid any of that? I get that it's going to be hard to block out a lot of the noise of like the crowd and whatever.
Right. Yeah, you want that in a game.
You'd kind of want that, but I would almost feel like, do we have to set it up in such a way like where you and I sitting here like this, it's easier to pick up our voices on a microphone and mute everything else. Like, don't have a mic that's going to be picking up players or anything else. Right. You just need mics on your broadcasting guys. Yeah. And maybe that eliminates some of it. I think that's a majority of the issue. And this is just layman's, like, I don't know, the actual, what kind of equipment some of these guys are using. Or if, when you're pumping out super loud Lady Gaga on the speakers above us, like, yeah, it's going to get picked up. But there's got to be a way that they can either, put some of their guys, got to get them a soundproof booth or something to where they're not going to pick up all that stuff.
A lot of these small arenas, these guys that are doing the broadcast are right out among the fans. They got a little section roped off just for those the announcer guys, and they're right there with the fans. So there's no booth or anything to go.
Right. And that just sounds like that's the issue that this league or other leagues are going to have to figure out in order to avoid that. Because I think you can still get through and stream on YouTube, but you got to figure out how to do it so that doesn't happen. Yeah. And clearly, they've had a lot of streams go with nothing apparently. But then
they've been doing streaming on YouTube for years. Some of these leagues, so I don't know what's going on now.
I don't know. Maybe YouTube's got to come up with a new, not agreement, but like a new algorithm or a new, some new rules for leagues using their platform.
Change the rules when you're talking about sports.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. I just feel like, how would I handle it in that situation if I worked for a small team and was streaming to YouTube? It's just, I do everything in my power to put my dudes in the booth in as soundproof an area as I could get them. And then on top of that, trying to eliminate any crowd noise. Yeah, it stinks. Yeah, you kind of want that crowd noise. But if you want a good experience and avoiding any part of that YouTube algorithm picking up any hint of music, like the moment 4 bars from a Taylor Swift song get picked up, it's going to get flagged like that.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
Well, I'm just saying, like, that YouTube algorithm, you'd be surprised. Like, I've done different editing stuff, my movie reviews and stuff, and I've used sports clips. So you'd be surprised on what you can get away with, what the algorithm will overlook, as opposed to, like, I put a clip up, a 5-second clip from a Star Wars movie on a video one time, and it got flagged immediately. So you just got to be careful. The algorithm is finicky, and there's no exact science to it, but you can get close enough to squeak by. Like my YouTube channel, I never got flagged for using movie trailers and stuff. So
yeah, that's probably something that a lot of people don't know is that all of your, anytime we do a, like this show or any of your other videos, YouTube scrubs it before they post it or before they finalize it. And if it says no issues, then you're good to go. So every once in a while, that does happen.
I've had it one just recently. We've kind of been toying with some of the music and stuff at the beginning of the show. And our first show back from break, I thought was cleared. It later came back that music was used, and it was like shared revenue with whoever that song was by, which I didn't realize. It didn't pick that up at first. That came later.
Okay.
So that was a bit of a shock. But then the second video back, totally flagged for that song you picked to be over the music, which was copyrighted, and I had no idea. Randy screwed the pooch on that one.
Oh, come on. I got it from a free music site,
say that.
So I thought I was good.
When the file name says watermarked in it, that should have been the red flag.
I had no idea
there.
what that meant.
Well,
now I do.
Yeah. Once again, I like to point at the computer sciences degree written in crayon over there. Computers and digital media over there. Anyway, like, it is weird. And it does scrub it. It does look for it. Like, even that video we did of our trip to the Grey Cup, I had a version up that I was about to post, but it flagged a section of the video where you and I were in the airport talking, and it picked up the song that was in the background and flagged us right away for that.
Really?
So I had to edit that, trim out like enough of the song to where it wasn't going to pick it up, because it takes it a few seconds to register what a song is.
Okay.
And then, you're done. You're toast. It'll flag it. But like, if it's like, there's a little bit of leeway, like, okay, I can have like maybe 2 seconds of it, but as long as I cover up, like, it got us talking, but like the lead up to that, I had too much of a lead up, and it was like enough time for an algorithm or the computer to like, oh, hey, there's a song here that shouldn't be here, or blah, blah, blah. So, sorry, we went off the rails there talking about YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's it for the National Arena League, everybody. Sorry that went on a little longer than anticipated. Let's throw it over to Randy, who's going to probably breeze through the Indoor Football League.
Yes, Indoor Football League scores for Week 4. 2 games on Friday night. It was the Green Bay Blizzard over the Tulsa Oilers, 74-68 in overtime. I didn't realize at first that was an overtime
Heck
game.
of a game.
And yeah. So also on Friday night, it was the San Diego Strike Force over the Vegas Nighthawks, 35-27. Saturday, it was the Massachusetts Pirates handing the Fishers Freight their first loss of the season after a 2-0 start by the score of 50-47, and I guess that occurred on a last-second field goal.
Yep, I was flipping between this, the arena game, and had the hockey game all on the TV, so I was going back and forth between all three of those. I am still upset with the IFL Network. I'm going to have to cancel my subscription because I'm bummed because I want to like it, but I've been having so many issues just putting this stinking games on my TV because I want to watch them on the big TV. I want to sit there with a laptop. Look, I know if you've seen the pictures from Trey's viewing experience, he's got like 6 games on his computer and he's got a game on the TV. The man is dedicated. Good on you, Trey. I can't do that. I would like it on my big. I have a 70-inch TV for a stinking reason, and I want to watch football on it, and I just can't. My fiance did, though, at one point, why don't you just use the screen share and put it on the TV that way? And if that's what I have to do to get it up there, come on, IFL Network. Give us a way to airdrop it, or what is it, airplay it to the TV easier, because I was trying to use the app. The app is still finicky. Then I try to use you go to the web browser and log in on your phone. Same thing. It was just not working right. So they got a lot to still work out to enhance the viewing experience. I'm going to have to hate canceling my subscription. I haven't had to pay a dime yet, but I'm going to hate it because this app does actually have some potential. I like the fact that I have a lot of these games at my fingertips, and I want to stick with watching the Fishers Freight. Right. I actually like this team.
That's our team now. We've been to see them in person, so that's our IFL team.
I'm invested. I think they should have a great season. They're probably going to win it all because I called it. So I want to be able to watch the whole ride, but if your app isn't even going to give me the flexibility to throw you up on my TV with ease without... I mean, one week it was the fact that it kept rewinding to the beginning of the broadcast for no reason. Like, I want to be able to watch my game without an issue, and it just hasn't been easy.
Well, maybe when the season's about halfway over, they'll throw people a discount. Hey, if you sign up now for the rest of the season, we'll give it to you for $5 or something like that.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. But as of right now, while it's not perfect, and I don't hate the app, like I said, there's stuff about it I like. It needs some more work, and they're probably not going to get my $30, which is why I'm checking my account right now to make sure I have not been billed. Because I definitely know it hasn't been 4 games yet. So.
Yeah. All right, let's continue on with the scores. Also on Saturday, it was the Quad City Steamwheelers over the Iowa Barnstormers, 53-35. This was a rematch from last week. Also, the last game on Saturday, the Jacksonville Sharks over the Tucson Sugar Skulls, 63-55. Now that's more of a good score there. And on Sunday, the Bay Area Panthers over the Northern Arizona Wranglers, 50-28.
Well, it's a good thing I checked right now because they were due to charge me on April 20th. So, sorry guys, I'm gonna have to. I just can't do it until I hear that they have fixed a lot of these issues. I cannot do it. Man, $30. And it's not like it's a bad price either.
No.
For what you're going to get, but I want to be able to throw the game up on my TV without issue. So, sorry, IFL. I gave it a shot. I tried. I really did.
All right, and next week in the IFL for Week 5, it's going to be the Massachusetts Pirates at the Jacksonville Sharks on Saturday. Also on Saturday, the Bay Area Panthers at the Fishers Freight. Man, that's a good game.
I'll be able to at least watch that one last time.
Yeah, I always thought, should we go to that game? I've never seen the Bay Area Panthers, but no.
A little short notice.
Yeah, a little short notice.
I mean, you could probably go. I probably could.
Maybe. And then the third game on Saturday, San Antonio Gunslingers at the Tulsa Oilers. And, that's a fourth game on Saturday. The Tucson Sugar Skulls at Northern Arizona Wranglers. So 4 games all on Saturday. On bye, it's going to be the Green Bay Blizzard, San Diego Strike Force, Vegas Nighthawks, Quad City Steamwheelers, Iowa Barnstormers, and Arizona Rattlers all on bye. And now let's go to Adam for some UFL scores from Week 3.
That's right. The UFL is in action. You know, we love our indoor and arena a lot, but hey, it is also nice to have some outdoor spring football being played. And the UFL's got a lot going on right now. Had a full slate of games this past weekend, which started Friday as the defending champions, the Birmingham Stallions, squeaked by the Arlington Renegades 10-9. I believe this score was 9-0 at halftime.
Really?
And Birmingham was able to
Wow.
eventually come back. I think it was like a last-second touchdown, too. They were down 9-3, and I think one of their quarterbacks got hurt. So Magoo was in, and I forget who the other quarterback was, but because I didn't watch that live, but Birmingham was able to come back, get the victory. Don't look quite like the same Stallions team we've seen in the past, but hey, they still find a way to get the W. And for Arlington, God, I love their helmet. They might have one of my favorite helmets. I just love that bandit logo they got. All right, then on Saturday, the Houston Roughnecks squeaked by our buddy Royce's Memphis Showboats, 18-17. I tried to watch a little bit of this game. It was a hard watch. I'm not going to lie. When I was watching, it was really ugly. Neither team could really do much. But at the end of the day, it became a little bit of a game as the Roughnecks took that one. And then we're going to call this the game of the weekend because, we were there.
We were there, yeah.
And because it was actually quite an entertaining game. It shouldn't have been. The Michigan Panthers defeated the San Antonio Brahmas 26-23 thanks to a missed last-second field goal by San Antonio. I guess we'll just. Do you want to do it now, or do you want to wait till we wrap up all the scores and then talk about our experience?
Go ahead and do the last score. And then we'll
all right,
talk
okay.
about that.
And then that night, the DC Defenders remained undefeated as they defeated the heavily favored St. Louis Battlehawks 27-15. So, all right, back to our Michigan Panthers experience. Great game.
It was a lot of fun, but it was an all-day kind of thing.
It was. We left early, got back a little late.
I left the house at 8 o'clock in the morning to go over and get you and your fiance, and then over to pick up her dad, and the four of us drove to Detroit, and traffic was no problem. No. Parking was a cinch. I'd already paid for it, so I just flashed them the barcode or the QR code and got right into the parking ramp. Nobody in the parking ramp. It was so strange because you go to a Lions game, and it's traffic backups. It's shoulder-to-shoulder people. It's impossible to find a parking spot, and they're all full. And so this was great to go and see Ford Field with no no obstacles in your way.
I mean, it was a pretty clean in and out.
Yeah.
I kept telling my fiance, I was like, look, a Lions game is practically 6 times more of an issue because it's 6 times the amount of people. Right. It's just 6 times the amount of like everything. And she's like, I don't know if I can handle a Lions game, to be honest with you.
It's a lot.
But everything was pretty easy. The Panthers organization does a great job. Ford Field has also been great hosts for the Panthers. Yep. They take real good care of them, it seems like.
And it was Kids Day.
It was Kids Day that day, so there are a lot of kids there. And so my fiance and her dad have never been to Ford Field before, even for a Lions game. Mm-hmm. So it was nice for them, exciting for them to kind of just see the stadium.
Yep.
We walked around for a bit. They seem to enjoy it.
We went to the Lions gift shop.
Yep, the Lions gift shop was open. Got to walk through there.
Then we went to the Panthers gift shop area.
Little disappointed with that, not going to lie.
No, they had a bigger selection last year of things. But
seems like they're just trying to get rid of a lot of stuff they haven't sold the last couple of years. But I digress. They could work on their merch stuff. But Ford Field is still a great venue for watching these games. They had a great attendance. It was a crowd of 11,000 people.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. It was the second best attendance of the weekend. Obviously, St. Louis is still pulling in 30,000 for their games. Yep. But if Detroit can stay steady and increase it, like I think,
I think the fans, just because there was only 11,000 there, I think the fans are really into it.
Yeah.
The ones that do show up, they are really into this team.
Yep. They really are, including like where we were sitting. There was some guys from the Alternative Football Network that were in front of us.
Right.
We didn't really talk to them. We saw them wearing their shirts and stuff, but we were just like never introduced ourselves. It's just like, well, we weren't quite sure who to talk to. I feel awkward just walking up and being like, "Hi, we're from the world of football." But we were there with my fiance and her dad, so we were kind of just doing our own thing.
Yep. And
so I don't know. We kind of talked with them on X a little bit afterwards because I saw our picture of us at the game, and I think one of their dads was in our picture.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. I might have to touch base with them at some point. But I watched their show yesterday, them talking about the game. So they got like a nice little grassroots thing they're starting up, which is really cool.
Michigan Panthers Pride.
Yep, Michigan Panthers Pride. and they're going to be teaming up with Royce this week because Royce covers the Showboats.
Right.
So
and those two teams are playing this week.
Yep. So a little plug for them. They're going to team up and
That'll be fun.
chit-chat. I'll check that out. But, I mean, the fans are into it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of fun. The only real hiccup, like even during the game, was on the media side of things. They always bring people out on the field and do games and stuff. One of the games they play is the ball in the helmet, and you have to figure out which helmet the ball was under.
Oh, yeah.
And the video board operator messed that up because when the helmet started shuffling, they cut back to the kid who was supposed to watch the video board and guess which helmet the ball was under.
Right.
Hard to guess when
the
camera cuts away from the shuffling.
Yeah, so he made a guess and he was wrong, but
was
they
wrong.
gave him the prize.
They
anyway
gave him the
because
prize.
of
That was nice.
That was nice.
We'll get to the game itself for in a second. Oh, you weren't here for this. I'll tell you this story. I went before kickoff because I didn't miss kickoff. I got there in time, but we were trying to get. We were just going through one of the alcohol vendors, and it was as the national anthem was playing. And I've never been out in the foyer or out at any of those concession stands when the national anthem's playing because I'm usually in my seat.
Right, yeah.
But with my fiance being there, we were, just still looking around. And so I wasn't really thinking about it. And we're sitting there, we're ordering our stuff at the vendor. And all of a sudden, my fiance's talking to this lady, and this lady just stops and stares off. And we're like, what's going on? And she didn't say anything, but then we realized, oh, it's the national anthem. So I took my hat off. And the lady who was getting the drink ready was like looking around, and everybody's quiet. Like all the vendors stopped. I didn't know they just stopped, but they just kind of stopped and were looking around. But the lady was slowly trying to quietly crack open the drink because legally you have to open the alcoholic beverage, and she was slowly starting to do it. And I cracked up. I was loud too. I laughed, and she looked at me like I ratted her out to her coworkers. And when it was all said and done, she's like, "He made me he laughed first. He made me." So it was kind of funny. I'd just never been out there when something like that happened.
Yeah.
Then they had a magician at the game. He was on the video board for a minute, and then when we were walking around after halftime or during halftime, we ran into him. And my fiance loves magic, so we're sitting there watching him do a couple of tricks. So he was telling people what names they wrote down on a piece of paper without him looking at the piece of paper, and their minds were blown. And one of the guys who was watching also said, "You guys missed it. He turned a deck of cards in my hand to a block of glass." He was like, his mind was blown, and my fiance was like, "Oh, I wish I could have saw that." So I think she grabbed his business card.
Okay.
But it was fun. I love going to the games. And yes, there was a game itself. Randy, why don't you tell us about the game?
Oh, I don't remember anything about the game. I just remember going to the concession stand twice, once for a burger, once for a hot dog, and then I got a pretzel on the way back to my seat at halftime. But no, it was a pretty good game. It was kind of back and forth, but at the end, I thought we were definitely going to win because it got tied up at 23, and then we kicked a field goal with how much time was left? Like 50
seconds.
50 seconds left. But boy, those Brahmas, they worked their way down the field, and they used their timeouts, and they got out of bounds, and the guy had the kicker for the Brahmas had kicked a 55-yarder earlier in the game, and so with about a few seconds left in the game, it was a 53-yard field goal, and he missed it, I guess, wide left.
Oh yeah,
and that was it. Time was done, and the Panthers came away with a victory. So that was nice. Boy, like I said, the crowd was really into it. Man, they just went crazy when that thing went wide, and everybody was happy. Everybody went home happy from that game.
Yeah, the Panthers should have had a handle on that game. The big difference, I think, was the pick six. It was like an 85-yard return.
Oh yeah.
The Panthers were in control. They were up by 8 points.
Yeah, we should have taken a big lead at that point.
Yep, but instead the pick six happens, and the Brahmas were back in it. Otherwise, it shouldn't have been as close as it ended up being.
Yeah.
And Dean Blandino making some bad calls. There's a couple of calls I didn't agree with that he made that got challenged, but it is what it is. The Panthers got the victory at the end of the day. So.
Yep.
Look, I think the UFL has been doing great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens. There's a lot of stuff on the administrative side that kind of seems shaky. Between that, the players' union stuff is still, I think, ongoing.
I still think they don't have an
an agreement.
Yeah,
I don't think so either. But something else that isn't in your stories here, but earlier in the week, I think it was on Wednesday, the Brahmas hot young offensive coordinator just left the team. Said he was leaving the team. Yep, he announced that during the week, so people were kind of shocked by that. That was something that kind of came out. So I don't know what the deal is with the way these teams are structured, if that's pushing some coaches out or how that's going. I don't know.
They had 2 head coaches left like the week before the season started.
Right.
And so they had to find replacement coaches right then and there. But
hasn't bothered the defenders at all because they're still the only undefeated team left.
Yeah.
So then your games this upcoming week will be the Friday night game. Memphis Showboats traveling to Michigan to take on the Panthers. Royce, we wish you could be in Michigan for that one, buddy.
Yeah.
We probably would have gone to that had that been the case. Saturday, we'll see the St. Louis Battlehawks take on the Arlington Renegades. And then also Saturday, the Birmingham Stallions taking on the Houston Roughnecks. And then Sunday, this might be a better game than we think. The San Antonio Brahmas taking on the DC Defenders. That should be an interesting one. Mm-hmm. And then our big news story of the week, this kind of broke during and after the game. I can't remember when I saw this, but St. Louis will be the host of the UFL Championship Game again this year at the Dome at America Center, Saturday, June 14th, 8 p.m. on ABC. Ooh, a Saturday night championship game. I like that.
Yep, they hosted it last year, so the 2 UFL Championship games are both in St. Louis so far.
Makes a lot of sense. They've been a great host. We've been there for a game.
Yep.
It's a great place to catch a game. The fan base there has rallied around that team. And I think even for a championship game, even if you can get a fraction of that crowd, whether or not the Battlehawks are actually in it, they probably would still go because it's football in their town. And it makes sense. And I think it's a great location to have it. Hopefully someday they get it to Ford Field because
that would be nice.
Make it easier on us.
If the Panthers are in the championship game this year, do we think about going to St. Louis for that game?
I'm going to tell you right now, probably not that weekend. That's not a great weekend for me to go.
Okay. All right.
It's the kid's birthday, so
okay.
Probably not for me.
Road trip for the family.
Over her dead body.
All right. Well, let's move on to some more happenings from around the world of football. We're going to talk about the NFL now. Quarterback Joe Flacco, who is 40 years old, has signed with the Cleveland Browns again. He was with the Browns in 2023 and helped them make the playoffs that year. He has signed a 1-year, $4 million contract. They've also got Kenny Pickett, and who they got from the Steelers, and Deshaun Watson are under contract with the Browns. So it'll be interesting to see what the Browns' quarterback situation is going to be this year.
And they have the number 2 overall pick.
Yeah, it could be another quarterback.
Oh, my God. Who knows? That quarterback room is interesting, to say the least. Very surprised that they would bring a 40-year-old Joe Flacco back. But, I mean, after what he did a couple years ago, and one comeback player of the year because of it.
Yeah.
Stealing that from Damar Hamlin. I mean, give Joe Flacco a shot. He kind of,
well, he knows the system probably. And he's familiar with everything that they were trying to do, so he might be a good fit.
Maybe. We'll see what they do, but, Cleveland is doing weird Cleveland things, apparently.
Yeah. According to a website called footballzebras.com.
Oh, I love Football Zebras.
Yeah, everybody's familiar with that one. The NFL has relegated 3 officials back to the Power 5 college ranks. They are second-year umpire James Carter, third-year line judge Robin DiLorenzo, and first-year down judge Robert Richardson. All 3 officials have the ability to work at the college level, re-enter the developmental program, and work their way back into the NFL. But I think this is something that's never been done before. So who knows what their future is going to be. Yeah, it's really weird that you can just, we're sending you back down to the minors.
They just need to have their own official, they just need full-time NFL officials. They need a command center. They need to start adapting some of the stuff like some of these other leagues are doing to get the officiating it's never going to be perfect. Let's just admit it. It never will be. But the closer we can get to being transparent about officiating and making sure that these guys are properly, trained and this is their job. That you are a career NFL referee. Right. You're not NFL referee on Sunday and serial line worker, Monday through Thursday or whatever. it's
that rule book is so complicated that they need to be watching film all week long and get ready for the game.
Right, and not down developing photos over at your local Walmart.
The players do film study all week long on opponents and past and future game or past and upcoming games. So
what? A 2-hour Zoom meeting on, hey, let's be more cautious on this call this week. Come on, they need more full time. It needs to be a profession and a job. I don't know why the NFL has been so stingy with that aspect of it.
I don't know. Don't know.
Is it because it's all rigged, Randy, and they can't let it all get out?
It's not in the script, so you gotta get people that will abide by the script in the NFL. Let's see. The Miami Dolphins and cornerback Jalen Ramsey are going their separate ways thanks to a mutual agreement between the two.
Yep, that's what it sounds like. The GM kind of came out and said that was going to be their plan. Not totally surprising. I mean, the Dolphins, I don't know his contract situation, how much time he's had left on a deal with them. But, you see this all the time, and it's right before the draft. So I'm sure they'll probably work something out after the draft, and we'll see what happens. But, Ramsey's been in the league for a number of years. He's got his Super Bowl with the Rams. So we'll see. He's probably going to be a Hall of Famer someday. I'd be curious to see where he lands.
Yeah. Let's see. Former Dallas Cowboys left tackle Tyron Smith is retiring after 14 seasons in the NFL. He signed a one-day contract.
He will sign
a one-day contract and retire as a Cowboy. Smith was a first-round draft pick back in 2011 and is a 5-time All-Pro and an 8-time Pro Bowler. He played in Dallas for 13 seasons, and he played 10 games last year for the New York Jets. He's allowed 39 career sacks over his 14 seasons. So, I can understand wanting to retire as a Cowboy.
Yeah,
and spend that much time with one team.
Yeah, but I think they say he's missed time he hasn't played a full season since 2015.
Those linemen get beat up all the time.
It's tough. But to miss as much time as it sounds like he has, and to still have 8 All-Pro seasons or 8 Pro Bowl seasons,
right.
5 All-Pro seasons is impressive.
14 seasons as a lineman is pretty impressive.
And 39 sacks over 14 years. That's like a couple a year.
Yeah,
3 or 4 a year maybe. That's it. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
And you play left tackle, which is one of the most crucial positions on the offensive line. So he was, protecting Dak Prescott most of the time. So,
yeah, he probably realized he was never going to win a Super Bowl with them, so he went to the Jets instead.
Oh, what a mistake that was.
Good thinking. All right, let's see some CFL news here. Last year's Grey Cup game generated $122 million for the local economy in Vancouver.
How much
British
of that
Columbia.
was you?
I spent enough money out there. I got a ton of souvenirs. But you know what my favorite souvenir is from that game?
What?
It's that little thing up there advertising the Grey Cup Festival that we got at the Pizza.
That we got. Hold on. That
you were there when I asked the guy if I could have it.
You conned the young man behind the counter.
It was after the game was played. They were just going to throw it away anyway. I said, hey, can I have that? The game's already over. This was after the game.
Poor college schmuck just I got to ask my supervisor.
But I just love that. I don't know why. It's got the date of the game. It's got the logo, and it's from a pizza. I'll bet if you went over there and smelled it, it would still smell like pizza.
I don't want to smell it.
But no, we had such a good time at the Grey Cup Festival. We were there. I think we got there on Wednesday, and the game was on Sunday. So they have a whole week's festival, and 122 million may not sound like a lot. You got players making that in 1 year, but in Canada, that is a big deal. And that festival was so well run. There's so many cool things. We got to sit in on a talk by the commissioner, the talking just to the fans. That was free to go to, and there was a lot of stuff you could pay for, and a lot of stuff that was free. So we had a ball, and I would highly recommend folks going to a Grey Cup sometime. You'll never be able to afford a Super Bowl and go there for a week, but you can go to a Grey Cup game and spend a whole week schmoozing with the crazy fans up there, and they will treat you really, really well for coming up there and partaking in a Grey Cup with them. So I'm seriously thinking about going again this year. I don't know if you can make it, but I would love to go again.
So it sounds like $120 million Canadian is roughly about $86 million US. So
whatever.
That's still not. That's just a good chunk of change.
Yeah. No, I don't know how that compares to other years, but there was a lot of people there for that weekend. The stadium was pretty much packed. What was it? Was it like 56,000 people at that game? I forget the exact attendance, but yeah, that stadium was pretty much packed, and just a wonderful week that we spent there. I will always remember that week of our first Grey Cup game. Okay, let's move on to some college news. Kent State University has fired their head coach, Kenny Burns, after placing him on administrative leave with pay last month. Offensive coordinator Mark Carney will serve as the interim head coach, while a national search for a new head coach will take place at the conclusion of the 2025 season. Burns has hired an attorney by the name of Lee Hutton, who plans to sue the school over his firing. No reason has been given so far as to why he was let go.
The Lee Hutton just showing up out of nowhere.
Yeah. I assume that's the Lee Hutton III that ran the AFL into the ground after last year.
I believe it is. Slowly we turn.
Yeah, you brought that to my attention, and I looked that up, and I'm like, really? Okay.
Right? He finally, all this time, haven't heard a peep out of him. Now all of a sudden he's an attorney in this story. Like, what in the heck is happening?
Yeah.
I mean, well, yes, he is an attorney, but the fact that...
But he's still in Minnesota, I think.
I think so.
But, yeah, I guess he'll go anywhere for a case. All right, here's a story that I found this morning. I don't know if you've heard this or not. Tennessee quarterback Nico Iamaleava? Malieva?
Iamaleava?
Yeah, I think so. Iamaleava. I had to do it phonetically. Is leaving the school in a contract dispute.
What?
Let's see. He wanted to renegotiate his NIL contract with the school, but the school said no. So he is entering the transfer protocol, which begins tomorrow. I guess he announced this to the school before their spring game last Saturday. So it kind of like came out of nowhere, and they didn't want to renegotiate his contract. So he said, "Okay, I'm out of here." So they're saying bye, and he was looking to go from a $2.4 million NIL deal to a $4 million NIL deal. This is the world we live in now.
Amateurism is dead.
This is the world we live in. I hate it. And I was listening to some of the talk show people, and they're talking about how there's no salary cap in NIL money. You can make whatever you want, and there's really, they're allowing this to happen. The players to be paid, but there's really no oversight, and there's no rules, and it's just a big free for all. And that's where we're at now. You want more money? Yep. So I don't know if he's going to be picked up by anybody else. I'm sure he'll go somewhere. But
I'm sure his talents will be sought.
I don't know if he's going to get the $4 million that he wants from a new school. It's hard to say.
What little tiny school thinks they're a quarterback away and willing to throw $4 million, maybe even $5 million at this kid?
I don't know.
We'll see. This should be interesting.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens with this in the days and weeks to come.
Did you see the story? You don't have this in the rundown, but did you see the vice president fumbling the national championship trophy?
Yes, I did. I saw that briefly this morning.
Good gracious.
Broke it in half, and
the
base fell off.
It's supposed to come off the base, but apparently he didn't realize that. Come on, bro. Like, what are you doing? Chuckleheads.
Let's see. NFL draft hopefuls and former Colorado University players Shedeur Sanders and Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter will have their jerseys retired during Colorado's spring game this coming Saturday. Sanders wore number 2 and Hunter wore number 12. And you were asking, why would they do it at a spring game?
Right. Wouldn't you want to make it big fair? I mean, I guess it would be hard during the season when, both of these guys are going to be with different teams.
Right.
So I guess.
And I think that's the reason why. They want them to be there to enjoy, the crowd saying, hey, thank you for what you did. There's your jerseys. You get to see them up there. Now go and have an NFL career, and maybe you'll come back someday.
Hunter, I totally get. He won a Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
But no offense. I know you're the coach's son, Shedeur, and you're a top quarterback prospect, but what'd you win?
Well,
where'd you take this team out other than getting them out of mediocrity and into higher mediocrity?
He brought a lot of attention to the school along with his dad.
He did. They did.
They did.
But to retire his jersey, I'm sorry. He played 2 years and he was aight. He was okay. I don't think he was even great. He's a mediocre quarterback in a mediocre draft class. I just don't get it.
Hey, I was ready to watch any game that when Colorado was on TV. I was there to watch to see what he would do.
Dion, he had them those first few games. I was actually curious, but I think as it went along, I don't think Shador's as good as people kept saying he was.
Well, we'll
clearly
see.
Not. Travis Hunter was the one who stole the show, playing both ways, and then apparently there's a story out that he says he won't play if he can't play both, corner and wide. Yeah. Who knows? Whatever, but we'll see. I don't know. I wouldn't. Shador, I don't get it. I don't get it.
It's name recognition more than anything.
Maybe they'll unretire it in a year or two. I don't know. But I just think it's weird that he was literally only at the school for 2 years.
Yes.
And I don't know. I get that, the program is definitely in a way better state than it was.
Sure, yeah.
But that's more, while Shador is part of it, I think that's more on Dion than anything. I'm not saying build Dion a statue just yet, but
it's both of them.
I don't know. I just think that's weird. I can buy into Travis Hunter all day long.
Yeah.
You won a Heisman at our university. You deserve it.
Yep.
But Shador, I don't know.
Well, it'll be interesting to see where he actually gets drafted. Some people are saying that he might go, the Cleveland might trade for him. And
Cleveland's got the number 2 pick, so
second pick.
I don't know.
Could he be a top 5 or top 10 pick, or could he actually slip to the second round? Who knows?
Yeah.
But just remember, Joe Montana was selected in the 3rd round out of Notre Dame.
Oh, remember Patrick Mahomes was in the 15th pick overall. Who else? Russell Wilson didn't get taken to the 4th round. Tom Brady was the 6th round, pick number 199. Whatever.
You never know with the draft.
You never know.
It's a big crapshoot.
It is a big crapshoot. Right?
Every year I say that. It's a crapshoot.
The big crapshoot in April.
Yep. All right. Today's birthdays. April 15th, defensive back Antonio Cromartie turns 41 years old today. He played his college football at Florida State. He was the 19th overall pick in the 2006 NFL Draft by the San Diego Chargers. He played 11 NFL seasons. He was with the Chargers in 2006, from 2006 to 2009. He was with the Jets from 2010 to 2013. The Arizona Cardinals in 2014. He went back to the Jets in 2015, and he finished his career with the Indianapolis Colts in 2016. We also have 2 obituaries today. This is where we take a moment and honor those who made the world of football a better place. Our first obituary is that of Don Hasselbeck, a tight end in the NFL for 9 seasons. He has passed away at the age of 70. Hasselbeck played college football at Colorado. I wonder if he's got his number retired there. And was selected in the 2nd round of the 1977 NFL Draft by the New England Patriots. He played for the Patriots from 77 to 83. He was traded to the Los Angeles Raiders during the 1983 season and ended up winning Super Bowl 18 as a member of the team. He also played for the Minnesota Vikings in 1984 and the New York Giants in 1985. He is the father of quarterback Matt Hasselbeck, who played 17 seasons in the NFL, and quarterback Tim Hasselbeck, who played 4 seasons in the NFL.
All right, and our final obituary this week is that of Dan Sullivan, a guard and tackle in the NFL for 11 seasons, has passed away at the age of 85. Sullivan played college football at Boston College and was selected in the 3rd round of the 1962 NFL Draft by the Baltimore Colts. He was also selected in the 10th round of the 1962 American Football League Draft by the San Diego Chargers. He signed with the Colts and played his entire career in Baltimore from 1962 to 1972. He won Super Bowl V as a member of the Colts.
All right, and finally today, our upcoming events calendar. Thursday, April 24th through the 26th, the NFL Draft takes place in Green Bay. Saturday, the 26th, the Women's Football Alliance season begins. And on Tuesday, April 29th, it's the CFL Draft and the Global Draft taking place in Toronto on basically not a Zoom call, but a phone call.
Yeah.
They all get on the phone line and they make their picks.
Well, since we're in the middle of April, should we start tackling some of the stuff that's coming up in May? I mean, we got some games we could unhighlight from Red and talk about. Like Saturday, May 17th, we'll see the European League of Football begin their season. I'm very excited to see them get back into action.
Okay.
Monday, May 19th, the CFL preseason begins. Look, I like the CFL, but it's preseason. Get out of here. Friday, May 30th, the Arena League season opens up. Be interesting to see because they changed some rules. They're going from 6-man to 7-man football this year. And then you have Friday, May 2nd.
I got that in the wrong order.
Oh, so
because I knew it was in May, but I didn't know when. And
we didn't know it for a while. When
right, so I should have moved that up to the top of the May list.
But yeah, so pretend like we said this one first. May 2nd, La Liga de Fútbol Americano Profesional will begin their season that 2nd of May. So a lot of stuff coming in May.
Okay,
so
I'll include those next week then. All right. Anything pop up on your phone while we were talking that we need to mention before we close out the show?
Nothing really. No big news stories I've seen kind of scrolling around the Twitter sphere. Other than, I guess you might find this interesting. I saw Trey tweet this out from Off the Wall. You remember the kicker for the Fisher's Freight, Balaga?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, the Fisher's Freight just the other day tweeted, like, happy birthday, bud. And then apparently cut him.
No.
Yep, they cut him.
He had that great onside kick
I know
early in the game.
You're telling me. But Trey, I'm telling you right now, Trey's social media game is my favorite because his post was "Life comes at you fast," and it's the picture of the happy birthday post, and then the special teams changes they made today as they have released kicker Michael Balaga and signed kicker Victor Leventreat. So
wow.
Yeah, life comes at you fast.
Oh, God.
You hate to see it. But
yeah, really. Well, that's part of the business, I guess.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's all for this week. Don't forget to check out our World of Football merchandise at tpublic.com for the latest football-related T-shirts, hats, mugs, and more from our store. Remember, folks, some people may love football more than we do, but nobody, and I mean nobody, loves more football than the two of us guys sitting here in Kalamazoo talking about football. Join us again next week when we'll try and do a better job. Yeah, right. I've been Randy Snow.
And I've been Adam Snow.
We'll see you all again next week.
See, we nailed it. That was a good way to end the show, Randy. Good job. I'm going to applaud you for that one.
You're welcome.
Thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoyed this installment of This Week in the World of Football. New episodes of the podcast are posted every Tuesday and can be found wherever good podcasts are found. You can find the World of Football on Facebook, Instagram, and X by searching for TWOF Kalamazoo or using the links down in the episode description. Head on over to YouTube and subscribe to the World of Football for more fun football-related content. Just search for the World of Football Kalamazoo or use the handle @the World of Football. Thanks for listening and hope to see you again next time.